Hey BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here again to talk to you guys about some of my most anticipated reads between now and March of 2018. I only did 3 months and I only did 5 titles. This is the 15 books that I'm looking forward to in the first quarter of 2018 because there are lots of books coming out and I can't talk to you about all of them. I couldn't look at the whole year or I was gonna get overwhelmed, so this is just 5 books a month between now and March of 2018 that I'm super looking forward to. I am looking down at notes if you're wondering where it is that my eyes are going to. You guys know my memory is shit for plot details, so just forgive me in advance. The first book that I want to talk about comes out January 9th, and it is The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Massey. This book is about Perveen Mistry, Bombay's first female lawyer in the 1920s. She's working on a case to help 3 female widows when things take a turn for the worse and get murderous. I don't really need to know anything about it. It's a historical crime thriller. It's set in 1920s Bombay, which is an area that I know nothing about, both like historically in time and then culturally in the world, and it's about female lawyers. So I am here for all of those things, please and thank you, and that comes out on January 9th. The next title that I'm super looking forward to is Robots and Fairies. This is a collection of short stories edited by Dominic Parisian and Nava Wolf, who also worked together on the Starlight Wood anthology, which is a wonderful collection of modern fairy tale retellings. But this collection is going to be so good, you guys. I have an e-arc of it, but I'm really hoping to pick it up physically, because if it looks anything like the Starlit Wood, it's going to be a beautiful physical object. But I have a digital copy. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a collection of short stories on robots versus fairies, which, like, please, like, put together 2 of my favorite words in a title in a collection and let me give you all my dollars. And that comes out also on January 9th. The third title for January that I want to talk about is Red Clocks by Lenny Zuma. I also saw Joss talk about this on her channel, so I will link to that video down below where she talks about some of her 2018 anticipated reads. This sounds so good. Basically, it sounds like a slight modernization or another take on something like The Handmaid's Tale. It follows 5 women in a near-future dystopian society as they deal with a law system based on gender regulation and gender norms. That is something that is like super all of my catnip, but also deeply terrifying to me, especially given like the way things have gone politically and just for women in general in the world, but also in America legally over the last like 12 months. It's not great, you guys. It's not great and it's a little scary, but I'm really looking forward to reading this book, and that one comes out on January the 16th. The next book that I have on my list for January is The Sky Is Not Yours by Chandler Clang Smith. This is another future dystopia, but it's a future dystopia fantasy in which a burned out metropolis is being hunted overhead by dragons. And every blurb I read promised chaos, conspiracy, and a book about what it's like to be very young when the world that you are in is very old and in fact maybe dying. And this book comes out on January 23rd. And then the last book for January I want to talk about is called Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. This book is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. There is a scavenger on the streets of Baghdad and body parts are going missing, and at the same time a serial killer has appeared and is making some shit go down also in the streets of Baghdad. And who are these 2 people? Are they the same person? What do they have to do with each other? I don't know, but I can make some pretty good guesses because it's called Frankenstein in Baghdad, and I love Frankenstein, and the idea of setting it in Baghdad I just think opens up the doors on so many cool possibilities. I'm super excited for that one to come out, and it comes out at the very end of January on January 23rd. Moving to February, the 5 books I want to read in February. The first one is called Backtop. This is a short story collection about what it sounds like women being women, talking back, pushing boundaries and establishing needs, dealing with the concept of selfishness versus selflessness and empathy versus sympathy and all of these things as it is to be a woman in this world and in this country and in this time. That's a little bit of a theme of books that I'm looking for in 2018, and I'm really looking forward to picking up this short story collection, and that one comes out on February 6th. After that, we have White Houses by Amy Bloom. This is a historical fiction book about a female reporter who falls in love with Eleanor Roosevelt on the reporting trail as she follows the Roosevelt presidency from its candidacy through the White House. Guys, historical fiction about a lady reporter who falls in love with Eleanor fucking Roosevelt. Who doesn't want to read that? Who doesn't want to read that book? I want to read that book. I want to read it right now, but I can't because it does not come out until February 13th. The next book that I want to read is called The World Only Spins Forward by Isaac Butler and Dan Coyce. This is an oral history and oral storytelling of the play Angels in America by Tony Kushner. This is one of the first plays that I ever saw. I went to see it with my mother in downtown Kansas City. It blew me away. It has always blown me away. I've read it on paper a couple of times since then. I read it for a drama class in college, and I got to do selected scenes from it. I love this show. I love Tony Kushner's writing in this show. There are a lot of things about this play that I think stand up so well to all of the test of time and to the test of any era and any context in which you want to set it. I just really, really like it. So to get an oral history about the play, about Tony Kushner, about its earlier performances, about its critical reception, all of those things just is really, really exciting to me, and something because I had no idea it was coming out, and I'm really, really excited for it now. It's one of those things where when I read it, I immediately realized how much I wanted this thing that I didn't even know existed, and now I want it really, really badly. And that one comes out also on February 13th. And then the last book coming out that I want to read in February is called A Girl Like That by Tanaz Bathena. This book is about Zaran Wadia, who is the kind of girl that everybody warns you to stay away from when you're in high school. She lives fast, she lives loose, or at least that's what everybody thinks. But for some reason, Porus Damasia has only ever had eyes for her, and nobody knows why when they end up dead together on the side of the road. This is a book about young adult love and romance and race and class, all set in Saudi Arabia. It's supposed to be an absolutely gorgeous debut novel, and it comes out on February the 27th. Okay, so moving on to March, guys. The last 5 books that I want to talk about in my books I'm looking forward to this year in 2018, or at least in the first quarter of it. The first one is The House of Broken Angels by Luis Ubertor Urrea. This one comes out on March the 6th. I love Urrea's writing. He came to my college university and did a guest lecture course on Latin American writing that I took. We read his book, The Devil's Highway, which is about the illegal immigration trail from Mexico up through California and into the United States. We also read The Hummingbird's Daughter, which is a novel of magical realism that I struggled through at the time but have since reread and absolutely fallen in love with. Urrea's prose is really, really lyrical. It's really gorgeous. This book especially promises to be some of my favorite things. It is about a dying patriarch who is basically getting the band back together. He's calling all of the members of his family home to him, kind of for that last familial reckoning. I love getting the band back together novels. I love them so much. Add to that the issues with gender that can come out of books set in historical Mexican patriarchies. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what Urrea does with this one. That one comes out on March the 6th. I don't know if I said that already, but I'll just go ahead and repeat myself. The next one that I'm looking forward to is one that I have heard about, like whisperings about, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think it might be like the big epic fantasy that I get myself into this year. And it's called The Children of Blood and Bone by Tony Adeyemi. It's supposed to be a big epic fantasy novel about family and about vengeance and about court intrigue. I love that. I'm super, super here for it. It sounds like it's going to be really, really great. And I want to sink my teeth into these big, big, epic sci-fi fantasy series written by authors of color. Like, I'm so here for that new perspective, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think I also saw Sam Montomes very, very briefly mention this, so I'll see if I can find the video where she mentioned it and link it down below. But it's already on her radar too, so it's promising to be really great, and I'm hoping, hoping, hoping so desperately that I'm able to get a digital ARC, because 600 pages is... that's a big book, you guys, and I really don't want to have to wait to get it from the library. That one comes out on March the 6th, and that cannot get here fast enough. The next one I want to read is called Mary Spencer, Tales of Everyday Horror by Mallory Ortberg. This goes into my 2018 goal to read more horror. You guys saw me talk about that at the end of my 2017 stats video. I really, really, really want to read more horror books in 2018. It's a genre that I absolutely love, but because of the genre and because a lot of the stuff in the genre, the violence to women, the body horror, the fact that a lot of horror is written by straight white dudes, like that's a hurdle that I'm having to overcome when I'm looking for books that hit all of my different markers. But I'm really looking forward to this collection by Mallory Ortberg. Everyday horror is my favorite kind of horror, that small minutia horror. I really, really am excited for this one, and I'm hoping I'm not getting my hopes up too high because it's happened in the past, but I'm really excited. That one comes out on March the 13th. Maybe it's a Friday? I don't know. Probably not. I didn't even look at a calendar. I highly doubt it, but I'm still really, really excited. And then I have 2 more that I want to talk to you about. The first one is a young adult book that comes out on March 20th, and it's called The Astonishing Color of After. by Emily X.R. Pond. Like I said, this is a young adult book about a young girl who goes back to Taiwan to visit her grandparents after her mother commits suicide. So on the dust jacket, content warnings, obviously, for talks of suicide, if that's something that's going to bother you. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. I really love intergenerational novels between grandparents and grandkids. Add to that the travel aspect of going back to kind of your homeland or your parents' homeland, which is not a place that you've ever been, and your actual homeland is the place you want to stay. I get a feeling it's going to be one of those kind of novels, or that it's going to have that kind of tension in it, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. The last one I want to talk about is called Stray City. It comes out also on March the 20th. It's by Chelsea Johnson. This is the tale of a lesbian woman and her daughter. It's a tale of both the one-night stand that resulted in this lesbian woman's daughter, and the daughter kind of coming to terms as she learns about her parental background and her mother. It sounds like a mother-daughter book that also deals with sexuality and issues of family and parenthood and found family versus made family. And you know me, you know those are all buzzwords that I'm really looking forward to. The blurb promises that the writing is supposed to be superb, so I'm really, really have my fingers crossed for this one. The storyline of like lesbian has sex with a man for a night and gets pregnant is one that I've seen in media before, and I haven't always loved it, but I have hopes for this one, high hopes for this one, so we shall see. Fingers crossed. That's it, you guys. That's my really long video about the first quarter of 2018 and all of the books that I'm looking forward to. Please let me know down below what you think of these, what you're going to get to in 2018. I love watching these videos. I've been watching so many and taking so many notes. My TBR pile has grown so exponentially between all of the best of end of year lists and the looking forward to in 2018 videos that have been coming out. As always, you can comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I'm coming back. And until next time, take care of yourselves and have happy reading.